ओम स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयोः श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति भूरिदा जनाः। And because we had a lot of discussion on reality and unreality in the previous section. So the one interesting story which our Sarada is very fond of actually, where the unreality of the world is very strongly felt and proved as. It seems King Janaka was sleeping in his bed. Then suddenly his sevak or somebody came and woke him up. Rajan, chaliye, chaliye. The neighboring Raja has come and has come with forces, is attacking. Oh, acha, then bring my armory, this, that, everything. He got on his horse and then he sped to the battlefield. And then he went there and he fought his best. लेकिन वो पराजित हो गए. Then the opponent राजा उनको अच्छे से बांधा, लेकिन आप तो एक राजा है इसलिए I don't cut off your head or anything like that, लेकिन आपका ये देश छोड़ के चले जाना है. So by the time he was so hungry and thirsty, he went to the next kingdom, because on the way nobody would give even water because he was afraid the new Raja might take action. So उन्होंने दूसरे राज्य में गया. By the time he was so hungry and thirsty, so एक छत्र में सबको खाना बांट रहे थे. So he went there with his begging bowl. तो उन्होंने जब जो बांट रहा था उनके तक पहुंचा, बोला नहीं सब खत्म हो गया. Everything is exhausted. He was so hungry. जो भी है नीचे से वो खींच के जो उतना वो दीजिए ना, something. So that man he scrapped everything and put it in his bowl. So उन्हें ऐसे लेके मुंह तक ले गया. जोर से वहाँ से एक vulture swooped on it and the vessel fell down from his hand. It was broken and that was spread on the floor. वो हा हा करके गिर पड़े. Suddenly he is sitting in his bed and shouting, ये क्या है, ये क्या है, ये क्या है. And everybody said, what happened? बुढ़ा क्या हो गया, दिमाग खराब हो गया क्या? He was dreaming. But it was so powerful. वही जो आ रहे हैं सबको वही पूछ रहा है. वो सच ना ही सच है, वो सच ना ही सच है. That is true or this is true. So everybody thought so ये कथा में दिमाग खराब हो गया. Then he was sitting in the Raj Darbar. तो अष्टावक्र मुनि he came. तो त्रिकाल ज्ञानी वो सब जानते हैं. राजन, how are you? मुनिवर, वो सच ना यही सच है. Then he said, he asked him, see, when you were in the dream fighting that enemy king and the battle and that, was this kingdom, you are a Raja, so many sevaks, attendants and this and that, was this true at that time? No, Rishi. Now in this waking state, when you are here with all this kingdom and all, now is that what happened then in the dream? You are fighting the enemy, being defeated and all. Is that true? No. Then he became very much confused. वो भी सत्य नहीं है, ये भी सत्य नहीं, कौन सा सत्य है? Everything is false, there is nothing true. Then what is truth? Then the Rishi told, वो भी सच नहीं है, ये भी सच नहीं है, तुम ही सच हो. You are the truth. Neither that is truth, nor this is true. Of course, he became a great Brahmagyani and all that. Even Shukadeva went to him for knowledge. So, it was so powerful, he just could not get rid of it. So you see, that's what the argument which the traditional, very powerful schools of Advaita, they say, supposing something is not there at some point of time, you can never say it exists. It appeared to exist. दिखाया था लेकिन नहीं है, तो then कहाँ गया वो? If it is there, it should be there. So it appeared to exist, it was not there. That is their argument. Whatever you see in the Jagrat is not seen either in the Swapna or in the Sushupti. So it has only an appearance. It is not there. If it is there, see, either it is there or it is not there. No, you cannot say partly it is there. If it is there means, if it is Sat, existence means, it should be there always. So that which is not there all the time, then that is Mithya. It appears as something. So that's why what they say, in this consciousness, all this appear as existence. Apart from consciousness, there is nothing to it. So there are some of the famous examples which they give. Suppose there is a nice pot made of clay. Now, is the pot apart from clay? Can you show where is the pot? Show me. Apart from clay, you cannot show. So the pot is nothing but clay. It's really clay is the only thing. Pot is not a thing at all. Pot is just a name given to clay in a particular shape or whatever it is. So it's really clay only. Similarly, there is a nice earring you are wearing. Where is a golden earring? Please give me the earring, and apart from the gold, is it possible to give? No. So it's only the gold is a reality. The earring is just an appearance. It's a rupa, nama and rupa that is given. So they say this world is only existing in nama and rupa. Such may it's only that consciousness just appearing as all this. So in reality, it has no existence at all. So these are some of the strong arguments which they give. So, I mean, the real idea is to search for that which is eternal, which is everlasting, that is permanent. So if you have this idea about the world, etc., all that would only give us more vairagya. Idea is to bring about vairagya in us. क्योंकि हम लोग ये जगत इतना सत्य मान के इतना पीछे भागते हैं ना. Supposing we know that it's all nothing, then that gives you a tremendous sense of, it's easy to develop vairagya, renunciation, so that you don't run after it. ठीक है, जैसे भी हो कुछ व्यवस्था तो है, बस उतना ही, nothing beyond that. So that way it helps in your sadhana. That's all. Tiwari? So we'll try to finish this chapter and then we can take more questions. So Guru Maharaj says, as he said earlier, it's possible to realize God because your mind is like a sui, it's like a needle. God is like a magnet in your heart. The needle is covered with dust, because of which it's not getting attracted to the magnet. because of our engagement with the world, so much of layers of impurities and other things which have accumulated, our mind is not drawn towards God. It's always there. There is no change in the magnet. Magnet जैसे कि वैसे ही है. God is always there, eternal, pure, everlasting, just available. But because of our condition, we are not getting attracted to the magnet or to God. Once that impurity gets removed by just washing, then the needle will get attracted to God, we will get attracted to God. Then only there is redemption or moksha. Then he says, he continues, why shouldn't one realize God while living in the world? यहाँ रह के क्यों भगवान लाभ क्यों नहीं होगा? होगा ही. But as I said, one must live in holy company, pray to God, weeping for His grace, and now and then go into solitude. हाँ, ये सब तो करना ही है. बीच बीच में निर्जन वास में. जैसे हम लोग बोला, because you know, Thakur always say, at least for 3 days he would say. So now we are 3 days in निर्जन वास, completely insulated from the world. कोई चिंता नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, मोबाइल नहीं बज रहा है, कोई कॉलिंग बेल, no one is pressing the calling bell, कुछ भी नहीं है, no guest, nothing. So we are completely free from all that. So that's why he used to say, in such a this thing, it is conducive to practice sadhana, because to some extent possible, the external disturbances are removed. But here also, if all the time, if you are here also all the time inside with mobile or some other thing, that is mentally, if you are engaged, that is different. But at least physically, an ambience has been created so that you can do sadhana. That's why he always used to say, Nirjan Vas, go to solitude, so that you know you are not in the company of known people. घर पे क्या होता है ना, अभी even if you don't want, suddenly somebody will come. You can't drive them away. अभी आपका तो मन करता है, मान लीजिए जप करने का, ध्यान करने का, तो आ गया 20 साल का फ्रेंड है, नो भाई मैं तो अभी ध्यान करता हूँ, अब बाद में आओ. वी कैन नॉट से, अरे क्या हो गया तुम्हारा, दिमाग खराब हो गया क्या, ऐसे दे लास्ट. सो डिफिकल्ट. दे यूज्ड टू से व्हेन रंगनाथन जी वाज इन दिल्ली, those days his Sunday lectures are so famous. So हॉल तो भर जाता था, नीचे लॉन में भी बैठ के सुनते थे. बट द पीपल सीम्स ऑन संडे, some of the families, they will leave home in the morning itself. सुबह ही निकाल के इधर उधर कहाँ पार्क कहाँ बैठ के बाहर ही थोड़ा खाना खा के ठीक समय पे आ जाते थे. तो घर पे रहने में कौन आ जाएगा तो वी कैन नॉट ड्राइव देम अवे, हैं, कौन मेहमान आएगा करके. सम पीपल यूज्ड टू लीव होम इन द मॉर्निंग इटसेल्फ. शाम को लेक्चर है, मॉर्निंग निकल जाते थे, इधर उधर जाके समय थोड़ा ही करके बाहर ही खा लिया, ठीक आश्रम में पहुंच गए. उसे और कम से नो घर पे आदमी नहीं है. So like that, they were so fond of his lectures. As you see, because Shreyangsi Bahuvignani, initially particularly you'll find, initially when we develop a little taste, at that time lot more vignas will keep coming. Because initially you are making a track change, one track to another, and lot of hurdles. Then once you are established, then अरे वो ठीक है, छोड़ दो, वैसे ही है, वो वैसे ही है. So you get stamped, then that's not a problem. Initially when you are still struggling, then you know people will try to खींचने के लिए कोशिश करेंगे. Unless the plants on a footpath are protected at first by fences, they are destroyed by cattle. पौधा सब छोटा है, उसमें उसका चारी तरह किसी से गिरना है ताकि वो protected रहे, नहीं तो the cattle will come and eat away the plants. But once they are big, you can even tie elephants on them. क्योंकि तब तक वो बहुत प्रतिष्ठित हो गया अपना पद पे. So again he is asking, Master Moshe, छोड़ते नहीं है. Then householders too will have vision of God, won't they? हाँ, then फिर गृहस्थ लोग भी तो भगवान का दर्शन होगा ना, जरूर बोलिए। हाँ, फाइनली इज आस्किंग अगेन, एवरीबडी विल श्योरली बी लिबरेटेड, सबको तो मुक्ति मिलेगी ही मिलेगी। ऑफ कोर्स समवेयर एल्स ठाकुर गिव्स, सी डिपेंड्स अपॉन योर अर्जेंसी। किसी ने इस संसार ना इतना उनका अनुभव हो चुका है, वो बिल्कुल संसार में रहना पसंद नहीं है। और सबको कभी अच्छा कभी बुरा, किसी को बहुत अच्छा ही लगता है, सो दे विल हैव टू स्टे नेचुरली ना। आपको संसार अच्छा लगता है, आपका क्यों है बिना कारण क्यों आपको यहाँ से भगाना क्या है, तो रहो। जैसे ही यूज्ड टू गिव सम अदर प्लेस दैट एग्जाम्पल ही गिव्स, अन्नपूर्णा, काशी अन्नपूर्णा मंदिर में जो आते हैं बांटते हैं, पे खाना बांटते हैं सुबह से। कोई सुबह जाके लाइन लगाते हैं, किसी को दोपहर, किसी को शाम को, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन योर हंगर यू गो एंड स्टैंड इन द क्यू। तो इसलिए आपका जितना आप चाहते हैं उतना जल्दी आप पाने के लिए प्रयास करेंगे जरूर। Then he says, but one should follow the instructions of the Guru. गुरु का जो आज्ञा है, जो पथ उन्होंने प्रदर्शन किया, वो जरूर उस पथ पे जाना बहुत जरूर है। If one follows a devious path, one will suffer in trying to retrace one's steps. अब ऐसे कोई भटक गए हैं, फिर वहाँ से आपकी पुरानी जो पथ पे आने के लिए बहुत मेहनत करना पड़ेगा। So it's better one should be very careful and go along the path shown by the Guru. It takes a long time to achieve liberation. A man may fail to obtain it in this life. Perhaps he will realize God only after many births. जो भी है, so again there are so many different views depending upon how do you feel about the whole thing. Since there were two sadhakas. Narad was passing by. So then they know he goes frequently to the heaven और स्वर्ग की तरह जा रहे हैं। भगवान विष्णु का बहुत नज़दीकी आदमी है, उनके साथ हमेशा उठते बैठते हैं, चाय पीते हैं, सही से। सो देन दे आस्क्ड, आप पूछ के आइए मेरा कब मुक्ति मिलेगी। बहुत बार साधक का। सो देन दे केम बैक एंड देन द फर्स्ट पर्सन आस्क्ड, हाँ भाई बोलिए ना, वो आपका अगले जन्म में। तो इतना वो विचलित हो गए, बहुत रोने लगे, फिर मेरा आना पड़ेगा, फिर क्या है, ये अंतिम जन्म नहीं है, बहुत वो ये हो गए। तो दूसरे के पास गया, वो देखो वहाँ जो इमली का पेड़ है ना, जितना पत्ता है उतना जन्म की बाद तुमको मुक्ति मिलेगी। वो बहुत नाचने लगा, वाह मेरा तो हेलगेट अंत में मिलेगा ना, वो ठीक है। सो there are two attitudes. Supposing if you feel that if you are God's chosen one, भगवान मेरा कृपा करेंगे ही करेंगे, जब करेंगे उनका अपना मर्जी, मेरा क्या बोलना है, उनका जो है। The another is see two different attitudes. One is for the पुरुषकार, वो खुद ही इतना मेहनत करता है, वो चाहता है मेरा अगले जन्म नहीं यही जन्म में चाहिए, और सहन नहीं करते हैं। सेकेंड इज सरेंडर टू गॉड, भगवान की इच्छा है, मैं मुक्त करेंगे वही बड़ी बात है, जब भी होगा एनीथिंग इज ओके। सो बोथ आर टू डिफरेंट एटीट्यूड्स। वन ब्रह्मचारी और साधु रोड फ्रॉम हिमालयस, वो बहुत तपस्या कर रहे थे वह, तो माँ का वो पत्र लिखा, माँ देखो इतना मैं जब ध्यान कर रहा हूँ फिर भी ठाकुर का दर्शन नहीं हो रहा है। तो माँ बहुत ही नाराज़ हो गई, शी बिकेम वेरी इरिटेटेड। लिख दो, क्या सोच रहे हैं, क्या दुकान का चीज़ है उठा के ले आएंगे, इज इट समथिंग फ्रॉम द शॉप ही वुड गेट, जब उनका मर्जी तब दर्शन देंगे, अभी नहीं तो अगले जन्म, नहीं तो 100 जन्म की बात, जब भी उनका मर्जी। गॉड्स डिज़ायर। वो क्या है? तुम मांगना कुछ नहीं है तुम्हारा। व्हेनेवर ही वांट्स ही विल गिव। तुम्हारा कर्तव्य क्या है? साधन करना, करते जाओ। डोंट वरी अबाउट व्हाट विल हैपन व्हेन। सो दैट्स टीचिंग वन द आइडिया ऑफ सरेंडर। बिकॉज व्हाई डू यू थिंक दैट आई डिज़र्व, आई शुड गेट नाउ इमीडिएटली? जब भी उनका मर्जी भगवान का होगा। So he says, perhaps you realize God only after many births. Sages like Janaka performed worldly duties. They performed them bearing God in their minds, as a dancing girl dances, keeping jars or trays on her head. ठाकुर इसे बहुत ही उदाहरण देते हैं। Haven't you seen how women in northeast India walk, talking and laughing while carrying water pitchers on their heads? पहले सब होता था ना, अभी पानी ले आ रहे हैं लेकिन बातचीत करते हैं, हंसते हैं, सब कर रहे हैं, लेकिन एक बूंद पानी नहीं गिर रहा है। So like that, Janaka and others, they are always quoted as a great example. They had to perform. He was a king. He was performing, but his mind was completely established in that jnana. लेकिन यहाँ जो व्यवस्थाएं करते थे, मैं राजा हूँ तो मैं भिखारी हूँ, दूसरा है मैं आर्टिस्ट वो करना, जो भी आपका काम अलग अलग हो सकता है, लेकिन वेयर इज योर, हाउ इज योर माइंड फिक्स? जस्ट एज ही गिव्स टू एग्जाम्पल्स, जस्ट एज द डांसिंग गर्ल और द विमेन ऑफ नॉर्दर्न इंडिया हु कैरी पिक्चर्स ऑन देयर हेड। जनक के बारे में इतना सुंदर उदाहरण वो देते हैं। सीम्स प्रॉबली अष्टावक्र में किसी को आश्रम में वो जाते थे अध्ययन के लिए। सो उनका शिष्य लोग भी, ब्रह्मचारी लोग भी एक साथ पढ़ते थे। तो एक दिन हल्का से एक बूंद पानी गिरने लगा, बरसात। ही वॉज डिस्कसिंग अष्टावक्र मुनि जी, ब्रह्मचारी तुरंत उठ के चला गया, जाके वो अपना कॉपीन वहाँ धूप में दिया था, उसके उठा के ठीक ले आया, रख के फिर क्लास में बैठ गया। तो उसी समय कोई बाहर से, राज दरबार से कोई आके जनक का कान में कुछ बोला, कहने बोला ऐसे बोल दिया, वो चले गए। तो क्लास ख़त्म हो गया। तो राजा विदाई लेके जा रहे हैं, तो बोला महर्षि वो ब्रह्मचारी का, देखो मेरा सामान्य कॉपी वहाँ तुमने धूप में दिया था, वही उठाने के लिए तुम क्लास छोड़ के चले गए, वो गिले का तो मुश्किल करके। लेकिन जब पाठ चल रहा था, उनका कान में आके बोला, जो मिथिला बहुत बड़ा आग लग गया, बहुत जल रहा है। वो इसलिए दैट्स अ वेरी फेमस कोट, द होल मिथिला इज बर्निंग, न मे दह्यते किंचन, आई एम नॉट बर्नड इन द लीस्ट। वो जानते हैं राज दरबार में तो कर्मचारी है, सब है, मैं दौड़ के क्या करूँगा? तो सब अपना अपना काम करेंगे, निभाएंगे, क्या है। बट दिस इज इम्पॉर्टेंट, आई एम लिसनिंग टू दिस ग्रेट ऋषि। सो where your taste is, where your mind is, where you are fixed like that. Quite often what happens in the world, all assumed responsibilities. कोई चाहते नहीं है हम लोग का, नहीं मेरा बिना कैसे होगा, मेरा ही करना है, मेरा वही करना है, मेरा नो, आप कोई चाहते नहीं है आपका, आप भगवान के लेके सब कुछ हो जाएंगे। बट वी थिंक दैट वी आर, कैसे होगा, मेरा देखना है, मेरा ही करना है। सो एवरीवेयर। So that's why he says, unless the mind is fixed like that, it's very difficult. Then again he's asking, Master Moshe, छोड़ते नहीं है, you just refer to the instructions of the Guru, how shall he find him? कैसे ऐसा गुरु मिलना तो कठिन है। How to get such a guru? Of course it's naturally difficult. Master, anyone and everyone cannot be a guru. सब तो गुरु बन जाते हैं आजकल। A huge timber floats on the water and can carry animals as well. सब कुछ ले चल सकते हैं, कोई इतना बड़ा है, कुछ भी फर्क नहीं है. But a piece of worthless wood sinks if a man sits on it and drowns him. छोटा जो काष्ठ की टुकड़ा है, कोई उसमें चढ़ता है तो तुरंत डूब जाते हैं. Therefore, in every age, God incarnates Himself as the Guru to teach humanity. Sachidananda alone is the Guru. So you see, in every age, that's why it's very famous, the concept of avatara. One of the purposes or one of the main functions of an avatara is to leave before mankind a wonderful path for spiritual redemption in each age, like that. So, according to Gita, it's the same Sanatana Dharma. Ida idahi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adarpasya tadatmanam sujamyam paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami. Only for re-establishing dharma. नया कुछ नहीं है. पुरानी जो सनातन धर्म की पुनः प्रतिष्ठा करने के लिए आते हैं. So then there is a question, why, if it is Sanatana Dharma, where they need to come again and again? So that's why, see, according to the age, पहले तो the need arises because of the vismriti or the forgetful nature of human being. अब सब अपना अपना कर्तव्य जीवन का ये सब भूल जाते हैं, and they go wayward. Then to remind them and to bring them back to a spiritual way of living, again and again, God incarnates in the world. Not only that, every time there would be a different flavor, a different characteristic, very, very specific to that incarnation itself. So you find that various incarnations, there is nothing, it's not same like, because Rama Avatar and Krishna Avatar are entirely different. Where Rama Avatar, it was all, so he is called Maryada Purushottam. How a person living in the world will discharge his highest duties, even as a king. See, in Ramayana you don't get any instance, Ram itna jap kiya, itna dhan kiya, kahan guha mein jaake baitha, you don't get all that. All these things, how he did to the highest possible level with such detachment, such vairagya. When his own wife, something is there? No. उनका भी वो अग्नि परीक्षा देना है, इतना वैराग्य है. कुछ भी, everything was ready, the kingdom, he was to be anointed. बताइए नहीं मैं बिल्कुल अभी चले जाऊँगा, without batting an eyelid, just वही मुहूर्त में जाने के लिए, बिल्कुल उसका कोई वापस आके पहले कई की उन्होंने प्रणाम किया, ऐसा नो मन में वैरी भाव बिल्कुल नहीं. So if you read again, that's why is worshipped so popular in the entire India. If you think, Rama is the maximum worshipped God, because people feel some kind of closeness to him. There is nothing alaukik kuch nahi hai, everything, but still the highest example. Bhagavan Sri Krishna Vita दूसरा है, that charm, that attraction, जो सारे जगत का कैसे ऐसे मोहित करते हैं. And from the beginning itself, his extraordinary supernatural qualities. Like that, so if you come down the line, if you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, कैसे नाम संकीर्तन, भगवान का नाम, उसका गाने में कैसे आपका एक भगवत प्रेम जीवन में आ सकती है. How even the worst sinners were completely converted because of their taking the Lord's name. कैसे वो घर घर जाके, even at the cost of being attacked and all that, how he spread the singing, the kirtan, that became a very great thing. So like that, Sri Ramakrishna has also several distinguishing features. Like one thing is how he popularized the discipline of prayer. प्रार्थना तो बहुत सारे वैष्णव scriptures में, भक्ति की किताब में प्रार्थना is definitely, the idea is there. But प्रार्थना itself is such a major spiritual practice. प्रार्थना के माध्यम में भगवान के आप पा सकते हैं. Because if you see his initial years of sadhana till his first vision. Of course, he was into dhyana and all that. But perhaps the most powerfully used technique by Sri Ramakrishna was his idea of this prarthana. Not only that, how in this Kali Yuga also to establish that the highest goal of life is to realize God. The one and only purpose of life is to realize God. Everything else is secondary. So this avatara, he came to popularize. So he is standing as the supreme guru, guiding the entire mankind. Then उसके अनुसार आप विभिन्न संप्रदाय में विभिन्न गुरु के पास जाके भी आप ये कर सकते हैं. But remember that he is the guru who came to teach the entire humanity in this Kali Yuga. And then, but ultimately again as Thakur always says, Sachidananda alone is the Guru. आपके अंदर जो आप तो सच्चिदानंद स्वरूप हैं, आपका ही तो शुद्ध मन, जिस मन में कोई ही अपवित्रता बिल्कुल नहीं है, वही मन से ही आपका अंत में ऐसा कोई संकेत आ जाएगा. Then you will be able to realize slowly your own inner reality. That's your guru ultimately. Even other gurus, etc. Thakur himself gives a beautiful example, like the 3 dacoits. You say there are 3 dacoits. So somebody was looted or something. Then they tied that person hand and feet. Then of course he gives it in several ways. अब the 3 गुणास सत्व रजो तमो वही उदाहरण भी देते हैं और गुरु के बारे में भी वहाँ भी देते हैं. एक है तमोगुणी वाला बोला उसका अभी भी खत्म करो, काट दो, नहीं तो कहाँ जाके खबर देगा. देन रजोगुणी वाला नहीं उसका बांध के वही अवस्था में छोड़ दीजिए. देन सत्वगुणी वाला बोला उसका सब खोल दिया, थोड़ा ले गया, थोड़ा वही जहाँ दिख रहा है ना वही तुम्हारा मकान है, चले जाओ. अरे आप इतना मेरा सहायता क्या, आइए. नहीं मैं वहाँ नहीं जा सकता हूँ, वहाँ जाने में पुलिस मेरा पकड़ेगी. सो ही सेज इवन योर गुरु कैन ओनली शो यू द आइडियल. वो तुम्हारा इष्ट है, वो तुम्हारा अल्टीमेट है, लेकिन आपका साधन करके ही उसको पाना है. दैट इज द इवन दैट्स व्हाई दे से अल्टीमेटली द इनर गाइड अलोन इज द फाइनल गुरु. What is knowledge and what is the nature of ego? God alone is the doer, none else. That is knowledge. भगवान ही सब कुछ करते हैं और दूसरा कोई कुछ नहीं है, वही ज्ञान है. I am not the doer. Actually, the biggest obstacles or the bondages they feel is kartritva, bhoktritva bhav. I am the karta, I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, I am the bhukta. So, to know that I am not the doer, kartritva bhav bihin, then that is knowledge. I am a mere instrument in his hand. मैं आप उनकी हाथ में, I am just a mere instrument. Therefore, that's why Sri Krishna also told Arjuna, निमित्त मात्रम भव सव्यसाची. निमित्त बनो, तुम्हारा कुछ करना नहीं है. विश्व रूप दर्शन के माध्यम में उन्होंने दिखाया, ऑल भीष्म द्रोण दे ऑल बीन किल्ड, सब झूल रहे हैं, एवरीवन इज हैंगिंग. देखो ये सब हो चुका है, तुम ऐसे ही करो, नहीं तो तुम कर रहे हो, तुम्हारा कुछ करना नहीं है. तुम चाहते हो तो नहीं चाहते हो, ये होने वाले हो चुका है, मान लो. इट्स ऑल ऑलरेडी डिसाइडेड एंड डन. Only you be an instrument. Nimitta matram bhava savasachi. You become, so that you are celebrated as a great devotee of the Lord. भगवान की जो सबको तो विश्व रूप दर्शन सब देख नहीं पाएंगे, लेकिन if you do this, then you become redeemed. Then everyone says that he is a great devotee of the Lord. कैसे उन्होंने भगवान का ये मान के कैसे कैसे किया, that much should be there. Otherwise, you have nothing that way. Then he says, that's why he says, therefore I say, mother, thou art the operator, I am the machine. मैं यंत्र हूँ, आप यंत्री है. जैसे आप चला रहे हैं वैसे मैं चलता हूँ. Thou art the indweller and I am the house. Thou art the driver and I am the carriage. आप रति है, सारथी है, मैं रथ हूँ. I move as thou movest. जेमनी चलाओ तेमनी चली, जैसे चला रहे हैं वैसे मैं चलता हूँ. I do as thou makest me do. I speak as thou makest me speak. जैसे आप मेरे you make me speak that way. It's not my own. Not I, but thou. नाहं नाहं तुहु तुहु. तो दूसरी जगह में बहुत सुंदर ठाकुर एक उदाहरण देती है. जैसे काफ बछड़ है, कैसे देखो पहले तो हम कहते हैं, हम्बा हम, उसका बोल रहे कितना कष्ट ठाकुर कहते हैं, उसका लेके कसाई में काटता है, उसका सब नाड़ी सब निकालते हैं. देन उसी से एक धनुष का ही बनता है, द स्ट्रिंग ऑफ द बाउ. देन उसके एरो लगा के जब उसका वही व्हेन ही पुल्स द स्ट्रिंग, वो साउंड जो निकल रही है ठुंग ठुंग तुहु तुहु, तो पहले जो हम्बा करता था उसी से करके तब में वो ऐसे ही बोला, तब उसका निष्कृति है. सो इसे व्हाट इज द हाउ वन गेट्स punished or how one has to suffer because of his ahankara. Everything is ultimately so many things that happen in this world. All the disagreement, fight in houses, in families, in factories, in offices, everywhere, even in संस्थास. बड़े बड़े NGO बनाया, लेकिन so मैं इसका प्रेसिडेंट बनूँ ना, मैं वो वही लड़ाई में पूरा ही बर्बाद हो गया, संस्था डिसॉल्व हो गया. तो नेक्स्ट आफ्टर 2 हाउसेस दूसरा बनाया, क्योंकि यहाँ नहीं प्रेसिडेंट बनूंगा कर. सो फाइनली द अहंकार मैं, दैट इज द बिगेस्ट ऑब्स्टिकल. सो दैट हैज टू बी गिवन अप. द आइडिया आई एम जस्ट ओनली इंस्ट्रूमेंट इन द हैंड्स ऑफ द लॉर्ड. आप भी सब कर रहे हैं, मैं सिर्फ एक यंत्र हूँ आपके हाथ में. फ्रॉम प्राण कृष्णा's हाउस द मास्टर वेंट टू कर्नल विश्वनाथ एंड फ्रॉम देयर टू द लिली कॉटेज. एक एक करके उन्होंने ऐसे भक्त घर घर जाके दक्षिणेश्वर कई बार फिरते उनको रात हो जाता था इतना, क्योंकि यू कांट गो एवरी डे. बट जब भी निकलते थे एक साथ 3-4 घर वो विजिट करके, कहाँ दोपहर का कहाँ इवनिंग का सब लेके प्रसाद होता था. देन दे यूज्ड टू कम बैक. सो फिनिश्ड. नेक्स्ट इज विजिट टू विद्यासागर. This time we can start. If you have any questions, the final set of questions इनका जो है बोल दीजिए, then we will. Anything? Yes.
Maharaj, in the next few chapters, Thakur Maharaj speaks about how one needs to perform in sattva, how one needs to dwell in sattva. How can people like us increase the sattva guna, or reduce tamas or rajas for that matter?
Yes. You see, हम सब में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा वो तमस के बारे में तो थोड़ा समझते हैं. तमस इज excessive indulgence in sleep and other things which makes us feel dull and inactive and so on. और बहुत सारा उस सब में धीरे धीरे अभ्यास से, प्रयास से, एवरीथिंग जो युक्ताहार विहार से, युक्त कर्म से, युक्त स्वप्नावबोध से. सो वी हैव टू टेक जस्ट इनफ टू कीप द बॉडी फिट, कीप द बॉडी हेल्दी. बट मोस्टली वी इंडल्ज इन बहुत सारे एक्सेसिव अननेसेसरी काइंड ऑफ फूड एक्सेट्रा, इधर जाना उधर जाना कई जगह पे. सो दैट वे. सो हाउ कैन वी टू द एक्सटेंट पॉसिबल स्लोली टेक टाइम. So that no laziness, indulgence, laziness and that kind of thing. So all that rajas is yes, we have to work, we have to perform. जितना करने में ठीक है, that is the problem. Where do we draw the line? How much is enough? And so there again depends upon the several conditions or circumstances of life. मान लीजिए आपका कोई ऐसे कोई यही है, परिवार बड़ा है, ये करना है, मिनिमम कुछ करने के लिए आपका बहुत मेहनत करना पड़ता है. बट देन सम पीपल एक एक करके एक दूसरी जगह नौकरी चौकरी ऐसे ऐसे करते ही यहाँ से वहाँ थोड़ा ज़्यादा दिए, वहाँ चले गया, फिर यहाँ चले वहाँ से. So like that we need not do that much. Supposing you have a clear understanding of life, मेरा यही करना है. First of all, you see, all that will work only when we understand the higher purpose of life. Otherwise, one cannot keep away from rajas, one cannot keep away from that kind of indulgence. So once the life gets a clear direction, जिस पथ पे जाना है, कैसे जाना है, क्यों जाना है, so you get some clarity. Initially, of course, not everyone knows everything. At least, we have thought about it deeply. What is the real purpose of life? समझ लिया, उस तरह मेरा जाना है. Once that urge comes, then we start rearranging the priorities in life. So like that, इतना करने में ही पर्याप्त है. One need not, सब कितना है, फिर दूसरी जगह ले लो, तीसरी जगह पे ले लो, उसका कैसे बढ़ाना. कार इज देयर, इट्स ओके. नहीं तो नया लेटेस्ट मॉडल चाहिए, फिर और कॉस्टली गाड़ी चाहिए. नो नेसेसरी, इट जस्ट टेक्स मी टू माई जॉब, इज इनफ फॉर द पर्पस, इट्स ओके. दैट काइंड ऑफ संतुष्टि, कंटेंटमेंट. बिकॉज यू सी, more and more you do, then naturally there will be more installments, EMI will be more, you have to work hard, spend more time, and then so many other things. And then थोड़ा भी कहाँ स्क्रैच हो जाए तो नींद नहीं आएगी. अरे इसे नया गाड़ी ले आए, आज ही इसमें धक्का लगा दिया, ऐसे ऐसे. So if you think that, see what is necessary, I have to move out, I have to travel, I have to go to my office or whatever it is. उसके लिए मेरा जितना ये है उतना मैं कर लूँगा. So that way, once you do not, what happens when you aspire for more and more, then there will be jealousy, then there will be raga, then will be dvesha. अरे वो मेरा पथ में वही तो बीच में पड़ा है, उसके लिए मेरा नहीं हो रहा है. मैं इतना किया, वो नहीं किया, उसका मिल गया. So all those raga, dvesha, hatred, jealousy, all those things will come. So if you think that yes, करना है, मैं करूँगा, मेरा तो एक उपार्जन ज़रूरत है, जीविका ज़रूरत है, बट दिस मच आई विल पार्टिसिपेट, इसकी अधिक नहीं है. एंड देयर आर पीपल लाइक दैट. नो, मैं इधर उधर नहीं जा पाऊँगा, यहाँ मेरा अगले प्रमोशन नहीं होगा, मैं यहाँ ही रहूँगा. बिकॉज आई हैव हियर, आई हैव टेम्पल, मैं अदर थिंग्स, मैं एसोसिएशन, मैं सत्संग, मेरा सब कुछ यहाँ है, मैं इसके अधिक नहीं करूँगा. So then they remain content with that, and then but see, that will happen provided you have that clear idea about that goal-mindedness. Otherwise, we will be regretting, ये क्यों नहीं हो रहा है, यह क्यों नहीं हो रहा है, why it is like that. So all those things will not happen if that is so. So rajas can be controlled like that. Then obviously sattva directly increasing your puja, worship, japa, meditation, stotra part, ऐसे कुछ करना. So like that slowly. So the whole thing is, largely it will start from the idea, what is the purpose of life, what is the goal of life. So once that is, to some extent, of course it will not be 100%, it's not possible to have that kind of clarity to start with. But at least this is not my goal. Being in this world and making more money and making more goods and making other things, that's certainly not the goal. There are more important things to do. Like that, if you kind of decide, then slowly you start reorienting your life, reorganizing it. Then the priorities change. So then slowly in fact, the more you increase in the direction of sattva, automatically rajas and tamas will start reducing. So that way you can slowly take it forward. Yes?
In between I have read somewhere, there are some 24 cosmic principles that is there. Nowhere it has been explained what are these cosmic principles. And also, again and again an example of avadhuta is given. Avadhuta considers bee as a teacher, kite as a teacher. What are these two concepts?
No, Avadhuta had see, the numbers are same, but they are totally different. Avadhuta had 24 Upagurus They say the kite and this and that, so many. That means what? So you learn from everywhere. It's not that, it's you should always see, learning is, anybody can be your guru and anybody can give you that kind of this thing. So, from everywhere he picked up. That's why in the Avadhuta Gita, it's all explained how he picked up various knowledge from so many sources like that. That's one thing.
Who was Avadhuta?
I don't remember the list. There is a Avadhuta Gita, if you type the text, you will get. So many are there. Similarly, in the Vedanta Sara, I think we have to refer the text, I don't remember. There are these 24 cosmic principles, they say. Of course, these are different from the Upagurus of Avadhuta Gita. They are entirely different. Yes? Anybody? Who is asking? No one. Shh. We have only some 5 minutes time. So, Ramakrishna always used to, how he came to visit Vidyasagar. That was his one great quality of Sri Ramakrishna. Wherever he felt, he was always of the opinion. Of course, in Gita also it is there. Wherever the Bhagavan's Vibhuti is there, definitely, whenever you find any exceptional person, definitely the person is blessed by God's special powers. Thakur also used to say, why some people are given so much, that's because there's a special manifestation of God in those people. So whenever he would hear of anybody with some great qualities, he would always make an effort. He himself would go there and meet that person, talk to him and so on. He was always very keen. So Vidyasagar, he was born in West Bengal. He was in the village of Bir Singh, not far from Kamarpukur. Sri Ramakrishna was born in Kamarpukur. So he was a great scholar, educator, and a great philanthropist. He was known for his charity, dana. Anybody, he won't turn away anyone. There were many people who were benefiting from his benevolence. Of course, he himself lived a simple life. He was a very rich man, but he would help anyone. So much as I said, seems when somebody came near him and used a very wild language and scolded him, then he said, I don't remember to have helped you at any time. So like that was his nature. He was one of the creators of the modern Bengali. He was also well versed in Sanskrit grammar and poetry. Even now, his grammar book, that's what's used in school level in West Bengal. It was very famous. His generosity made his name a household word with his countrymen. Most of his income being given in charity to widows, orphans, indigent students, and other needy people. Nor was his comparison limited to human beings. He stopped drinking milk for years so that the calves should not be deprived of it. And he would not drive in a carriage for fear of causing discomfort to the horses. He was such a nice man. He was a man of indomitable spirit, which he showed when he gave up the lucrative position of the principal of the Sanskrit College of Calcutta because of a disagreement with the authorities. He was very strict. His affection for his mother was especially deep. One day, in the absence of a ferry boat, he swam a raging river, Damodar River, at the risk of his life, to fulfill her wish that he should be present at his brother's wedding. उनके भाई का शादी के लिए he came to the shore. There was no boat. He simply swam across that Damodar river, and he reached. His whole life was one of utter simplicity. The title Vidyasagar, meaning ocean of learning, was given him in recognition of his vast erudition. Sri Ramakrishna had long wanted to meet Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. learning from M that he was a teacher at Vidyasagar school, the master asked, "Can you take me to Vidyasagar?" He would find out how to go and meet. "I should like very much to see him." M told Vidyasagar of Ramakrishna's visit, and the Pandit gladly agreed that M should bring the master some Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock. बोला शनिवार शाम को 4 बजे आप लेके आओ. He only asked what kind of Paramahamsa he was, saying, "Does he wear an ochre cloth?" वो क्या गिरवाधारी परमहंस है? कौन सा परमहंस? No, sir. He is an unusual person. He wears a red bordered cloth and polished slippers. Sri Ramakrishna's life is adbhut that way. What he was, nobody could really, you can't even describe him in any way. He was staying in a room in Dakshineshwar. He was not in a forest or a cave or anything. He wore civilian clothes, no uniform, and he used slippers. Formally, he was in a formal way. He was married, so everything about him was very, very different and special. That's why harmony. Someone counted so many kinds of harmony in his life. Harmony between so many, not only religious harmony. His life was full of harmony, of ever so many items of life. In his room, there is a couch. He lives in a room in the Rani Rasmani's temple garden. There's a couch with a mattress and a mosquito net. Sadhu, ऐसे कोई quilt भी use करता है. Because of him, we are all using mosquito net also. He has no outer indication of holiness, but he does not know anything except God. There is another, particularly it was very important in the context of this Kali Yuga. Because otherwise, if you are a holy man, you have to go to a faraway place somewhere where, far away from where people live and so on. He lived in the heart of Calcutta Sukhansi that time. And then yet he lived such a great life. Quite often, that's why M also asks again and again, for household, is it possible? Here was a person who was not in any cave, कोई पर्वत में नहीं है, कोई गुहा पे नहीं है, ऐसे कोई शहर में रहा करते थे, लेकिन अनवरत भगवान छोड़ के दूसरा कुछ नहीं वो जानते थे, ऐसा उनका जीवन था. He has no outer indication of holiness, but he doesn't know anything except God. Day and night he thinks of God alone. भगवान छोड़ के कुछ नहीं सोचते. Sometimes the youngsters would sleep in his room. किसी को नींद में जाना कुछ उपाय नहीं था, रात आके उठा देते हैं. And he won't sleep. Most of the time he will be walking about, chanting the name of God or something like that. How will you sleep in such a room? It's not possible at all. और सुबह तो 3-3:30 बजे से अरे उठो क्या यहाँ नींद में, have you come here to sleep? ऐसे करके बस हो गया. And for him, they would start very early, and that is how he would start his day. Day and night he thinks of God alone. On the afternoon of August 5th, the master left Dakshineshwar in a hackney carriage, accompanied by Bhavanath, Yam and Hazira. Vidyasagar lived in Bahadur Bagan in central Calcutta, about 6 miles from Dakshineshwar. On the way, Sri Ramakrishna talked with his companions, but as the carriage neared Vidyasagar's house, his mood suddenly changed. In fact, quite some time during the conversation, they felt he was in an entirely different mood. लेकिन लोग नहीं देखा, वैसे ही बातचीत करते थे, अचानक उनका सब भावांतर हो गया. So Yam did not notice. He was overpowered with divine ecstasy. Not noticing this, M pointed out the garden house where Raja Rammohan Roy lived. Oh, इसी Raja Rammohan. अरे छोड़ो इसे, मेरा मन नहीं है देखने. The master was annoyed and said, I don't care about such things now. He was going into an ecstatic state. ऐसे करके वहाँ जाके विद्यासागर का घर पहुँचे. Then they went on, they had long discussions about many things. And Vidyashankar also said many new things he learned. Because suddenly they were talking, Sri Ramakrishna said, Brahman alone, वही एक ही चीज़ उच्चिष्ट नहीं हुआ, बाकी सब झूठा हो गया. Then he was surprised. I heard something new today. No one had talked about like that. But that's what the Shastra says. यतो वाचो निवर्तन्ते अप्राप्य मनसा से. Because वाक्य के माध्यम में उसके बारे में संपूर्ण रूप से कहना संभव नहीं है. So no one can describe Brahman completely. So he says that's the only way where thing which has not become Uchishta, because completely no one could talk about Brahman. It's a very interesting discussion. Maybe in the next retreat we'll start with this. This may be the beginning for the next retreat in Gospel, Thakur's visit to Vidyasagar, and so on. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.